Everybody, I'm Toby Shifsky. I'm the Vice President of Real Estate Education, and I'm here with the Dearborn webinar for September. And today we have a very big topic, and it tends to be more and more at the core of everything we do for marketing, and being a big part of Kaplan and having some deep resources. We have with us today our very own resource, Jose Terrier, who is the Executive Director of Search Engine Optimization. And today our webinar is Search Engine Optimization Essentials. Learn key strategies to boost your online visibility. Jose, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Tori. I appreciate that. Appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you what we're going to do is Jose's going to bring a wealth of knowledge. And we want to make sure we understand who we're talking to today, because we're going to go kind of quick and kind of fast. I can tell you this, that if you have to leave for any reason, you can. We're recording this, and you will be emailed to you a link to it within a couple days after this webinar, so you can go through it over time and time again. We are not going to be sharing the PowerPoints, but once again, you can watch the video over and over. And I can tell you this, Jose has compiled a list of resources for you, and we're going to share that list at the end of the presentation today in a PDF, which will have all the hot links to all these resources, and he cites a bunch of them in today's presentation. So let's do this. We're going to jump in. Quick poll question. Everybody, I'm going to ask you a poll question. The poll question is, what is your primary role at your school? Once again, these are all anonymous, these poll questions. The attendees, they can see your chats in the chat, but they don't know what you answered for your poll question. So go ahead. These are anonymous. I really kind of want to gauge our conversation around what your role is at your school. If you're an owner operator, if you're an administrator, or if you're an instructor, or gosh, you know what, I'm currently not even with a real estate school. Go ahead and pop your answers in. If you're on your phone, you may have slide over a screen to see the poll question, but go ahead and take the poll. I'm going to go ahead quick and finish this real fast. And the other thing is, we always share the poll, Jose, so everybody always knows kind of who's on here with us. So here we go. I'm going to end the poll, and I'm going to share results. Well, look at this. We got 15% are owner operators. Good for you. You're running your school. Administrators, biggest category, 77%. I'm going to ask a follow-up question in a second for everybody to say, okay, if you are involved in SEO, what is your role today? So I think I have a feeling we got a lot of administrators on here maybe wearing multiple hats and running the marketing also, which is great. We got instructors on, and we got a person in that's not even currently with a school yet. They're just thinking about doing it. Thank you for being here. Once again, at Dearborn, we want to be good partners. We share our information to help you be bigger, faster, smarter, stronger about your business. All right, let's do this. We're going to roll on. Here's our agenda. We're going to go through it pretty quick. We're going to try to get done within 40 minutes. Once again, we're going to email us out, and you can share that link out also afterwards. But we're going to cover very quickly with Jose an overview of search engine optimization. That's SEO. We're going to talk about the key SEO ranking factors, like how do I get my website to work faster and better and smarter and be able to be seen by more people, optimizing the site using SEO best practices, like what should you do and what should you never do. Jose's got a nice list for us and a lot of smarts behind it. Questions and discussion. You can, once again, always ask your questions in the chats. We're going to try to get to everything. I believe we have people on that are going to be able to answer this. I got Kate Wagner, who's the product manager for our wholesale business, the Dearborn business, and I believe we have Chris Robinson on to answer any of your questions also, a national account director in sales. Some of you work with him already. So plus Jose and I will be watching the chat. So go ahead and throw the chats in at any time. And then resources available at the end. We're going to have a PDF that we're going to share that has, I think there's at least 15 links on there of places for people to go to resources. So awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. And here's the next, and really this is our last poll question. This is your last chance to play along, everybody. Let's do this. We're going to go back and we're going to ask question number 2, poll question. If you would, take a second to answer this poll question. The poll question is, who primarily handles your search engine optimization for your website? Now, if your school already has a website, which most everybody does, I sure hope you do, who primarily handles your search engine optimization? Is it you? Are you the primary driver? Oh no, you know what? We hire an outside resource to manage all that. Good for you. Love that. We have a webmaster administrator on staff. I don't do it, but we have people on staff who do. Or we're currently building our website. We're just getting started. I'm here to learn. I think we're all here to learn, but all right. Look, we got just about everybody's participated. So we're going to go ahead and count and finish this poll question in a second. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, Jose, look at that. So 55% of the
Yeah.
people here, they're keenly interested in what you're saying, right? The outside, they people who hire in the outside, we got 18%. They got to know the language. They got to understand the basics so somebody doesn't run them ragged and run them around the block because they're the expert and they don't know anything. And then we have an administrator, a staffer on staff that does this. Great. And then how about that? We have currently building a website too. Sorry, 18% of the people on with that. All right.
Yeah, this is great, and I think that's very helpful to know. I think we have some information that will appeal to all of these different categories.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in.
Let's go. Let's start us off. I got us up. What is SEO and why is it important? Why should
So
we be talking about today?
so search engine optimization is important for a number of factors. Essentially, what it is a data-driven process that we use to optimize websites. And the reason we do that is when your customers go to Google and they do a search for keywords, if you have good SEO, they're going to be able to find your site a lot better. And that increases the traffic to your site. You get more organic traffic. And in increasing the traffic, this traffic typically performs very well. It usually has high conversion rates. It has a low cost per acquisition, and it helps mitigate against the rising costs of paid media. So in contrast, pay-per-click, PPC, or SEM is sort of a quick fix, but it's expensive. It's something that you can implement right away, but you pay for it per the click. SEO and content, it's a longer term play. It takes time to build up. But once you start ramping up and once you start getting those results, it's sustainable and it pays for itself over time. So it's really a great long-term strategy. And why is it important? Well, there's about 2 billion websites and about 50 billion web pages in the world, and we're all trying to rank in the top 10. So if you don't have good SEO, you're never going to make it.
Got it. So we're clear that SEO, the search engine optimization, this is the kind of thing where people put in real estate school Georgia, or real estate licensing courses, or real estate continuing education 15-hour blah blah blah. And then Google goes out, crawls the internet, rates everything. In fact, you're going to talk about exactly how Google does this and how it stacks it and saves it and rates it and why it's important to do the things you need to do. But and then Google will present you with a page of information. It'll present you with, and generally, if I ever look at the top, I got a bunch of stuff at the top of the page that says sponsored. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about? Is that what SEO does?
Those are the pay-per-click ads at the very top of the page, typically. And Google reserves this placement because that's where they make their money.
That's where they make all their dough. They sell
That's
that.
where they in 2021 they had $225 billion in ad revenue that they made from this pay-per-click placements. So what we want to do is we want to rank below that in the top organic placements because it's free there. But it's not free in the sense that you have to put in the work. You have to be consistent. You have to, there's no shortcuts. But when you're ranking in the top 10 and you're driving organic traffic, you're not paying per click like you are in those top sponsored ad placements.
Sponsored ad, and which means you're ranking. So as soon as the sponsored ads are done and they go into that
Organic section.
The organic is essentially the amount of effort you put into SEO rates you up. And if you're on that front page, in fact, I see myself lots of times I go and I look at the sponsored and I dismiss it and I go to the organic because I'm like, it must be real if it's in the organic.
That's exactly what happens. Typically, the organic results get a much higher click-through rate.
Yeah.
people are more likely to trust and click on the organic results.
Yeah.
They know that those paid placements are there because these are the people with deeper pockets. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that their resources are the best. They just have more money to spend per click.
That's
So
right. Well, very good, because I can tell you this, everybody, we spend a lot of money building our organic. I mean, this is what Jose does all day long, every day. Him and his team, they are building this long-term play, because the return on investment is so much better than pay-per-click, which is pay it and lose it instantly, or pay it and make money instantly. Or organic is a long, slow, measured, and I think it's a wonderful return on the investment for us. So,
yeah.
all right, let's roll in. How do search engines work, Jose?
So this is you touched upon it a little bit earlier. So essentially, there's four main parts to this. First, crawling. Google has bots. They're called spiders that they crawl the World Wide Web, and they basically discover websites and content this way. They go from link to link to link and discover new pages, new websites. Then Google categorizes these, catalogs them in a database that's called the index. And once they're in the index, when somebody goes to Google and does a search for a keyword, Google has a sophisticated machine learning algorithm, one of the most sophisticated algorithms in the world that we know of, that retrieves the most relevant results from the index. And then it serves that to users. And through this process, Google is able to serve, their intent is to provide the best search experience for people going to their website. And we say Google almost interchangeably with search engines because they essentially have a 93% market share. So there's other search engines like Bing, DuckDuckGo, but if typically the SEO strategies that we implement for Google work across the board for most other search engines.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So Google is constantly sending these crawlers, these spiders out, looking for information, looking for relevance. It throws it into an index, and I'm imagining that if its index is like me, if I open up my kitchen cabinets and the most important things that I use all the time are in the front of the shelf, and the
Right.
things that I don't use very often are way in the back. And
Yeah.
I'm imagining that's kind of how this indexing works, is relevant.
Absolutely. And then also, if your site is low quality, if it has issues, Google will crawl your site less and less. So
Oh,
it ends up in the back of the junk drawer. And at a certain time, Google will be like, you know what? I don't care about the site anymore.
you don't even exist anymore.
It's almost like you don't even exist anymore. Yeah. If your issues are severe enough, Google
Yeah.
will drop you from the index.
You're going to make sure that that doesn't happen to any of these people today. We're going to talk about that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
That
right. Oh,
so
shoot. Hang on. Let's go right to the next one, shall we?
yeah.
So,
So
what?
there are
Yeah.
so some top ranking factors in Google's algorithm, like essentially what makes Google decide which pages to rank based off the keyword that is searched. Here we have the technical ranking signals. So there's thousands of signals that we know of, and some are not completely confirmed. Google's algorithm is a black box. This we know via experience, via case studies, via trial and error, via I've been doing SEO for 20 years. I know what works and what doesn't. Technical ranking signals include things like the overall health of your website. We talked about crawlability. Can those Google spiders, can they get to your website? Can they get to all the different pages on your website? Are there roadblocks? If they encounter these roadblocks, if they can't maneuver around on your website, that's a problem, and your site gets dinged for that. Your site should be well organized, and that helps the crawlers and also users get from page to page and understand the themes of your site. Also, the content ranking signals are incredibly important. You want your content to be high quality and relevant and fit within the central theme of your site. So don't be publishing your cupcake recipes on your real estate school site. Keep that for your blog, for your
It
separate blog.
confuses, it can
It,
confuse the ranking, right? I mean,
absolutely. It's not relevant content. It diminishes the topical authority, the theme of content on your site if you stray too far from the central topic.
let me ask a quick question, because I think we got cooked on this once, several years ago, and we had to do a lot of work, and Jose did a lot of work. But well, Google often updates its little rankings, and it updates its crawlers, and you could be cooking along with a website you think is working great, and overnight your website could be hurting you, dinging you, or completely obsolete. Is that not true?
Yes. So there are over 300 to 400 algorithm updates per year, typically. So almost one a day, if not more, but they're typically minor updates. There are large scale algorithm updates. At this point, we call them core algorithm updates that Google launches, rolls them out, tests them on specific servers or data centers,
Yeah.
rolls them back, collects that information, tweaks the knobs in their magic black box, and then rolls it out again. And this is a dance that they do until they finally launch the algorithm fully to the world. And at that point, there's collateral damage. There are unintended consequences where sometimes sites that are doing everything right or that are doing things that are best for their customers, sometimes they get hit. Other
Yep.
times, as an example, you might have noticed that Reddit has raced up the search results. And for a lot of searches that you do, if you're an active
Oh,
searcher
yeah.
like me, Reddit is all over the place, more than it was a year ago.
Yes.
So what's interesting is that Reddit and Google joined a partnership, and Google is paying Reddit $60 million a year to train its model, its artificial intelligence model on Reddit's content. Coincidentally enough, all of a sudden Reddit is ranking better, has the exponential growth. So, and in doing so, as Reddit shoots up, it pushes other websites down because
Abs-
there's only 10 spots on the first page. So one moves up, others get moved
Gotta
down.
move
By
down.
by no fault of our own, Reddit leapfrogs us, and now we're, if let's say we were number one, now we're number two, and
Yeah.
so on.
Interesting. So, and here's the thing is, guys, Google is it's a company. It's not government. I mean, and they make up their own rules. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, they have some, some responsibility in commercial and statutes and that kind of thing. But generally, it's their rules. And I think the big lesson I got out of this was when the bots changed and the algorithms changed and our positioning changed like almost overnight is just because your website works today doesn't mean it's going to work tomorrow. And so when you have a website, it's like a storefront. And if that storefront gets old and stale and the products in the window get old and stale, people walk by it and Google's going to walk by it. You have to stay on top of your website.
I will say the one critical rule of thumb there, Toby, you're exactly right. It's do what's best for your users, do what's best for your customers. SEO is important, but it shouldn't be the central factor here. You want to be able, if you can stand behind the decisions you make on your website and say that this is good for my business, this is good for my customers, you won't always get rewarded by Google, but it's more likely that you won't have negative impacts from these algorithm updates. It's when you're trying to game the system, when you're trying to Google's looking to push out spam. So when you're doing things that are dodgy
Yeah.
in order to try to rank better without taking keeping your customers first, your business first, that's where you get in trouble. So
Got it.
I
Got
think
it.
that's a good rule of thumb to always keep in mind.
Let's talk about link ranking signals because this is an important piece, right? Linking.
Yeah, and we'll get into these in more detail in further slides, but essentially links are the most important piece here, one of the most important signals. And you want to have quality and relevant links point to your site, and internal linking is particularly important. One other note I wanted to mention, there's many other ranking factors, personalized search. What you search for before impacts what the results that you're shown next. Also, very important, I think, for this audience, location. So Google understands that there are certain products, there are certain services that are very geo-specific. Real estate schools
Oh yeah.
is something that would fall into that category. So having your site optimized for local, state, and city keywords is a way for you to outrank other sites that don't have that signal. And it's a simple way. Google understands that this site is based in Georgia. And when somebody in Georgia searches for real estate schools, even if they don't say Georgia in the keyword, Google is still more likely to rank your site than a site from California, for example.
If
So,
you're referencing Georgia, things about
yes,
Georgia, things that are, within your content scope, which is real estate education, but
exactly.
interesting. Well, I tell you what, so most people know, we have Kaplan, real estate education, big national educator. We do a lot of national, and here's the guy who helps run all that search engine optimization, telling you if you want to compete, and one of the big advantages you have is you are local. You do
Right.
know what's relevant. You should leverage that and
Yeah, lean into that.
lean into that. Yeah,
Yeah.
right on. Right on. Super cool. All right, let's go on.
So here we're talking about technical SEO best practices. So this is on the technical side. I think this is important though because it's foundational. There's
Yeah,
a lot of things here that essentially the main goal of technical SEO is to make sure that the search engines can access your site, that they can crawl it, that they can index your pages, and that it's optimized to rank well. The
and
site
they're
or
looking for a structure, right? They're
Yeah,
looking for a known structure that they know to be relevant, current. This is another thing about when websites get old and maybe used old structures, they can get, marginalized, right? Pretty
right.
fast. So are you
Yeah,
relevant? Yeah.
and I think that the site organization part is critically important. There was somebody in the poll earlier, or a handful of participants that are just building their website.
Yeah.
This is critically important at this stage. You need to be able to define your site organization, your directory structure. Your homepage is the top of the pyramid, and everything, it's the only page at the top, and then you have category levels down below. And this should go from general to more specific. And it
Yeah.
should be, as noted here on the right, have your product categories, and then have your blog, and then have your sub pages. And then you have your child and your grandchild pages. And
Yeah.
these should all ladder up following a theme from top to bottom, general to more specific.
Got it.
And this is critically important. Also, mobile first is critical. Google's now crawls with a mobile crawler, and if your site doesn't look good in mobile, if your user experience is poor on your mobile device, that could be an issue. So that's just something that you want to take a look at. I would say for some of these technical issues and some of the enhancements, more advanced SEO enhancements we'll be discussing, you may need a webmaster, you may need a developer.
Yeah.
However, one option is WordPress. WordPress is a pretty solid content management system. They have plugins that are good for SEO. That basically you install a plugin and they do a lot of the things that we'll be discussing. It allows you to optimize your pages. It'll look good
But
on mobile.
WordPress is an entire website publishing tool. You can create your
Yeah,
whole website within WordPress. You got all the different tools. A mom and pop can do it, and an individual entrepreneur can do it. Even a slightly, a pretty sophisticated organization. We use WordPress on some of our websites, and in fact, I
right.
think we have a couple websites that are WordPress. But
Yeah.
we're moving to more of an enterprise solution. But Jeff, definitely WordPress worked for what we needed for decades,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And for it's especially good for smaller sites and that are being run by less technically savvy people, right? And again, if you have a developer, if you have a webmaster, or if you're outsourcing this kind of work, that takes that onus off of you. But you should still know these things and know enough to be dangerous, know what needs to be done so that you can communicate that to your webmaster, so that you can communicate that to the agency that's handling
Right.
your website. Again, data is critically important. Set up Google Search Console, set up Google Analytics, GA4. We have links to this in the PDF with instructions on how to set these up for your website. This would allow you to monitor your keyword rankings, the clicks that come to your site from different keywords, which pages are getting the most impressions, the most clicks, what their rankings are. And
So
this
this
data,
is Jose, this is for individuals. If you have a website, you go to these resources and it'll give you the data on your traffic to your website.
Yeah, this is data directly from Google telling you th your website is ranking for these keywords. This is where traffic is coming from for your website. And we use this data to optimize our pages further. And we'll get into that next.
And we're going to give you the links to all these in a PDF later, guys. So you get it at the end. So, but super important. Here's what I'm getting from this right now and for many of you, you've got your website set up right. You've got your homepage, you've got your product categories, you've got your individual product descriptions, all the way down to purchasing. But organizing it properly from the beginning solves a lot of problems. And then tracking, kind of analyzing your data and being able to go to it. Even if you're not the web administrator, if I'm the owner, I might want to go look at some of these things instead of just getting information from somebody telling me what they think has happened.
Right.
You can go get this stuff too, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
and again, because this is critically important, I as an SEO over my career, I've seen this so many times where a website is launched and then they come to me and they say, okay, now great, we launched the website. Now do the SEO. No,
Yeah.
include me before the site is launched.
Yeah.
Let us establish the right hierarchy for your website, the right structure. Let us optimize the pages before it launches so that it launches cleanly, right? And fully optimized. So again, for those people working on websites now is the time to get SEO involved.
Got it. Excellent. All right. URL redirects, anything there?
Yeah, so when this is also critically important, we don't want to pages collect equity. They collect value from SEO value. Essentially, they'll rank for certain keywords, and over time, people will typically link to these pages. Other websites will link to these pages. What I've seen happen many, many times, and it's disastrous for our SEO efforts, is, oh, we don't need this product anymore. Just take the page down. No, you need to set up a 301 redirect that basically it's like a we have moved. When you set up at the post office saying we've moved addresses. Well, this is effectively what you're doing for this web page. So web page A now is going away. You redirect it using a 301 redirect to the next most relevant page. So, for example, if I have a product page 1, I redirect it either to the next most relevant product page, or maybe up to the product category if I don't have another relevant product page. What that does is it preserves the value of that page and passes it on to the next page where it redirects instead of
you don't
completely
lose
moving.
all that work you've done, all
Right.
that effort building up links and people coming to it and all this organic traffic. Because we've done it. We've done it before where you like you said, you can't you get rid of a product like take that page down. You might not want to. You might want to send them to the second most relevant place, like you said. Don't lose it. So if somebody says we're gonna chop all these pages out of your website, make sure you understand. Just remember the 301 redirect. You say that, and somebody's gonna look at you like, oh, all right, well, maybe we better look at a 301 redirect.
Yeah.
Let's shoot to the next one. So what is the role of SEO content in the customer journey? Tell us why it's so important and how it works.
Sure. So, as you know, there's a conversion funnel, right? Where we have our customers typically at the top of the funnel that they're in the awareness stage, then they move into the interest and consideration stage, and then the desire and action where they actually typically convert. So we want to have content and we want to have our pages optimized for each phase in this conversion funnel. So as an example, when they're in the awareness phase, they're typically searching for informational keywords. And this is where search intent comes in. So they have an informational intent at this point. They're looking for answers. They're researching. And an example of a keyword are what are the pros and cons of becoming a real estate agent? That's a very long keyword, but it's something that people search for. And typically they'll land on an informational blog post. At this point, we're introducing this customer to our brand, introducing them to our products. They'll typically come, read the post. They'll usually leave. Some will convert, but they're here for information more than anything else.
Got it.
Then there's the next phase where there's interest and consideration. Here, they're searching for more transactional keywords. Their intent is that they have a transactional intent. They're here to compare. They're here to choose. They're ready to act. They're almost ready to act. And some non-brand keyword examples are real estate schools in Georgia, California real estate schools, real estate textbooks, or California real estate textbooks. These are all examples of the kind of keywords that people would search at this stage when they're considering different options. And they'll typically land on a transactional product page. Those keywords get mapped to your, for example, real estate textbooks page. And then at this point, some of this traffic is much more likelier to convert than the traffic in the awareness stage.
Oh, for sure.
And then there's the third phase where people have made a decision. They are typically looking for brand keywords. Now they're looking for you by name. They've decided. They have compared and they want to purchase. They're ready to convert. They're looking for you by company name. They're looking for by your product name or company plus product name. ABC Real Estate School textbooks. And then they land on your homepage and they land on your product page. And at this point, they're ready to convert. The point of this is that we want to have content and pages that address our customers at every stage in their journey. And we push them down the conversion funnel as best we can with the content on our sites to get them to convert.
So this is fairly sophisticated now, because not only are we now talking about, oh, you need SEO, like, oh, what are my keywords, buzzwords? And you're saying, yeah, you need these things that the crawlers look for. But here now you're kind of letting people see the kind of the added depth, which is we're actually got 3 layers of SEO working, depending on where the customer is in their journey, if I'm hearing you right?
Yeah.
The awareness part, like, should I be a real estate agent?
Right.
And they're just trying to how much does a real estate agent make, right? They're looking for information about the awareness of the career, and having content available for them, like you said, on a blog or articles or resources on your website to fit where they are in their journey. For one is just awareness. The next one is interest or consideration, meaning now you're talking about, and they're ready to start making a purchase decision. And so now they're going to be comparing products, not just the industry, the awareness side, but now they're starting to compare products and having, why the advantage. And then finally at the very bottom, desire and action, and how are you lining up? So you're really laying 3 layers of SEO messaging and optimization for a full funnel experience to get people down to the very bottom.
Absolutely. And having a disconnect here means that you're going to get people coming in from one subset of traffic, one subset of keywords, and not the others. And then it may create a disjointed experience.
Got it. Like, you may be brilliant at awareness, but if you can't get people in the interest and consideration stage,
right,
you lose them. They never get
or the other way around. If you may be really good, have the most persuasive content and have the best product, but if people don't know you exist, people aren't aware of your brand, you have to fill that top of the funnel. Of course, the number of people decrease as they move down the funnel, but the bigger the top of the funnel traffic is, the more that are going to filter through and convert
down to the bottom. Very good. Awesome. All right.
So here we're talking about some of the more granular tactics on how to optimize our pages for the keywords that our audience is searching for and how to create quality content. So I have included here some links, and these links are included in the PDF that we'll share. Some tools. So these tools primarily are free tools. They have options that you can pay for, obviously, or sometimes they limit the number of times you can use this tool in a day, since it's a freemium option. But how we use them is, and there's an example here on the right this is from SEMrush, one of my favorite tools, where it shows the keywords, the intent, whether it's commercial intent, transactional intent, navigational intent, informational intent, and then the volume that those keywords get in the US in a month. So for example, real estate school is searched for 33,000 times every month on average over the last 12 months.
And it has the intent as a C. You said that's commercial intent?
That's commercial intent. So it's commercial and transactional are pretty close. It's somebody looking to convert, essentially.
So they're looking to buy.
They're looking to buy typically.
Got it. Okay.
And then the keyword difficulty here on the far right, this is how difficult this keyword is to rank for. Typically, that's proportionate to the volume. The more volume you have, the more challenging it is going to be to rank for that keyword.
And so
So
60 is a high, like, hey, when you mean ranking, like, you're competing against a lot of people here. And how are you going to rank your search engine optimization content on your website against the competitors? You're going to need to really bring your A game to get above 60 or.
Right. Well, this is how difficult it would be to rank for this keyword, for your
Yeah.
site to rank for this keyword. So if you're the easier it is, the more opportunity you have. And I think there's something important to call out here. You see further down on the list, you see Arizona School of Real Estate or Georgia Real Estate School Book.
Yeah.
These are the type of keywords that local schools should focus on, because real estate school at the top of the list, sure, it gets
Everybody wants.
exponentially more volume,
Yeah.
but this is the entire nation. All of the real estate schools in the nation are competing for this keyword, and there's only 10 placements in the top 10 that are really going to drive the most
Front
traffic.
page on a Google search, right? There's only
Right.
10 places.
There's usually 10 links. So you have a much better chance of, if you're Arizona school, to rank for Arizona real estate school, the real estate school in Arizona, Arizona School of Real Estate, those kind of keywords, than you are to rank for real estate school.
But would you
So
even go like to Tucson education?
yes,
I mean, you go way down to
absolutely. And as a tactic, I've seen sites that actually go to the not only the state level, but to your point, the city level, and have specific pages that are optimized for different cities. Macon, Georgia. Like if your school is in Macon, Georgia, actually one tactic that actually works well in the footer of your site, add your address, like essentially a
if you're
box.
local, put the local address in.
Put the local address there, and that means that on every page you'll have ABC Real Estate School, your address, Macon, Georgia, and that's called NAP, name, address, phone number. And
Yeah.
this information provides a trust signal to the search engines, and it gets that Georgia signal, it gets that Macon signal on every page of the site. So Google understands this site is from Georgia. I'm going to rank it for Georgia keywords.
So those are those geolocated people. Like everybody goes in, they search geolocation because I want to go to dinner tonight, and of course you've got things optimized to pick locally. Same thing happens when they go to pick a real estate school, right? I mean, there's an
Yeah.
opportunity for geolocation superiority.
Yeah, absolutely. And even this keyword here, real estate school near me, that is a national keyword. But if you're a Georgia school and somebody searches real estate school near me in
Yeah.
Georgia,
As
you're
long as
likely to
Google
rank.
knows you're in Georgia.
Yeah, Google knows you're in Georgia and will rank your site, even though that keyword does not include the word Georgia.
Does Google go really all the way down to like the county level or city level? Do they get that? Okay.
Yeah, so typically the rankings are state specific,
Okay.
but if your pages are optimized for counties, for cities, and somebody's searching specifically for school
Yeah.
in Macon, Georgia, or school in Hillsborough County or whatever it is, then you will get likely rank well, and that keyword is much less competitive. Again, it drives less traffic, but this is traffic that's highly relevant.
Yeah, got it, got it. I've got a question. Will the VPN skew results?
That's a great question. So if you're on a VPN, you will be shown the results of the location of the VPN that you're on. So yes. So one way around this is, I don't know if it's around it, use incognito in incognito mode in the Chrome browser, and it'll give you a more sort of standardized neutral results
Sure.
when you do
Sure.
searches. But yeah, a VPN will typically skew the results.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if your VPN's coming from Frankfurt, Germany, this is going to be kind of hard because you've been watching all those European shows releases, but they got to be tricky with the VPN. Let's go on. The best practices. What do you tell us about it?
Yeah, so here you want to be able to understand your audience, right? And show expertise to your audience. Write about relevant topics that your audience consumes and publish long form content. Optimize your transactional product pages. Like what we just talked about, that keyword research. Now you take that and optimize your pages. The next slide will go into more detail on how to do that. Create resources that appeal to your audience. And this is very important. Using that data that we have, using these keyword tools, you can put in a specific page on your site or in Google Search Console, look at the different pages on your site and see which keywords are ranking in positions 5 through 20.
Oh,
Positions 5 through 10 are the bottom of the first page. Positions 11 through 20 are the second page. We call these striking distance keywords. These are your prime opportunities because they're close.
yeah, just
to
move them up just a little bit.
move them up, nudge them up. If so, for example, if you look in your data and you're ranking really well for real estate school in Macon, Georgia, but you see that that page doesn't have that keyword on it, that's an opportunity. Include the keyword on that page, optimize that page for that keyword, and now you're ranking number 20. Now you're number 8, and now you're getting traffic.
Yeah, so once again, I think the key you said is you want your pages to rank top 10.
Yeah.
Use the analytics that's available, and we're going to share those links again. You're going to get all this stuff that's in here to go see exactly how those are ranking, and then check what is the keyword ranking on that page. And if you're missing it, and it's as simple as adding or adjusting in order to move up into top 10, I think Jose is right on it. And believe me, people get paid, their entire careers are made around optimizing those pages, doing stuff just like that, that you can do too to your website.
Yeah.
All right.
So now we're going to get into
Yeah.
on the page level. This is on page optimizations. We talked about how to identify the keywords that you want your pages to rank for. Now, how do I optimize my page so that it ranks for those keywords? Now, here it's about including those keywords, your target keywords that you've already identified through the data analysis, through that research, include them on their page and select important placements for SEO. So the primary placements would be like the title tag or the description tag. This is actually found in the source code. It's not visible to the user on the page. It is the title tag and description tag are actually what is shown in the search results. The title tag is the blue clickable link, and then the subtext when you go to Google and it says like a result that's ABC real estate school, and then a descriptor. That's your title tag and description tag. That's where they get shown in the search results. So you want those to be fully optimized to include your keyword, and then the description could include your keyword, but it's more important for it to be actionable. You want to increase click-through rate. And again, in order to change this, you may need a developer depending on what sites you're working on. But if you have WordPress, they have a plugin. A good plugin for this is Yoast. Yoast SEO plugin will lets you handle this directly in the WordPress content management system backend. You want your keywords, your URLs, the names of your pages to be keyword rich and descriptive and SEO friendly. Here's an example. Yoursite.com/real estate products/textbooks. Again, talking about site architecture and the structure of your site. This goes from general to specific, and it's clear to both users and search engines. This page is about textbooks.
Yeah, this is how I get down the road to textbooks at your website.
Right. And this is three levels deep. And then you want to have headings and subheadings. The heading, the H1 heading, which is the primary heading, usually the hero image, the hero headline, the main headline on your page, that should have your primary keyword, and then include multiple variants of the keyword, of the target keyword in the body copy. The most important thing here, though, is that you have to write for your audience first. It should sound natural. Don't stuff the page with a bunch of keywords. This is what we were talking about earlier. Don't try to game the search engines. They have a machine learning algorithm that will catch you and ding you if you are trying to game the system. Think of your audience first, include these keywords in a natural way, and then be judicious. Don't overstuff your pages with these keywords. Got
it. Here's a big one.
Yeah, link building. Links are the single most important ranking thing.
All right, did everybody hear that? He's going to tell you the single most important ranking system factor and link building. Go ahead. I just want to make sure everybody understands and listen close on this one.
Yeah, so basically links are the uh, the way that Google crawls the web. They go from link to link to link, discovering websites. When they're crawling the Google bots, they use these links, and it's essentially any link from a third-party site to your site is a vote. This is like the currency of the web. So think of this as the crawlers go from link to link to link, from site to site to site. The sites that have more links to it, that have more paths in, they become almost like hubs, right? And they are more prominent, more important than a website that's out on an island that nobody's linking to. So
Yeah.
this is a critical ranking factor. I think,
Almost like a spider web, right? I mean,
yeah,
the more strands you got coming into your spider web, the bigger the web is, the stronger and the faster and more important Google sees your website. And a typical link can be as simple as you have somebody who likes an article on your website and they put a link on their website saying, go see this article. Somebody
right,
clicks that link and it comes to your website. Is that a link?
absolutely. And that is actually probably the best way for the smaller websites to get links, is to get them naturally by publishing high quality content.
Mhm.
So you nailed it, Toby. The better your content is, the more likely people are to find it a good resource. And then they're going to say, hey, you know what? Uh, check this out. From my website to your website, I'm going to link over to you. That
It's
counts as a
almost like a
vote.
referral, right? And the
Exactly.
referral is viewed by Google to be important.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a voting system. How many referrals are you getting? How important are you to the industry related, businesses and entities that are directing at you? And so the more links you get, the more votes you get, and the more relevant you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think importantly that it's hard to get links, but internal linking is where we should focus,
Yeah.
because it's within our control. And what I mean by internal linking is, let's say you have a blog post and
Yep.
it talks about um, some of the tools that you'll need to pass the real estate exam in your state. And one of the tools, one of the things that you mentioned in the blog post is a real estate textbook. From that mention of real estate textbook in your blog, link that into your internal real estate textbook product page.
Wait a second. You said I can link within my own website and that
Yeah.
counts?
And the beauty of this is that this is any links pointing to that blog post, they pass their value through that link to your transactional product page. So you're basically funneling the SEO equity that your blog posts get to your transactional pages. So I would say, as an action item, go to your blog, go and actually your transactional pages as well. Interlink them, and look for opportunities to look for specific keywords that map back to your transactional pages, and add a link to that keyword on the blog post over to your transactional page, and that moves traffic along.
Yeah.
um, but it counts as an internal link, and you're basically funneling this value to your more important transactional pages.
Wow.
Uh, so I think that there's also link building campaigns, but that's an advanced SEO tactic that requires additional resources. That could be its own session in and of itself. We won't get into that in detail. I think we focus on creating high quality content, get those links naturally, and and then when you do so, amplify that content by sharing on social media, or if you have email campaigns, link to your blog post. The more people that see it, the more people will link to it eventually. So
Yeah.
it's a good way to naturally build links, and make sure you have those strong internal links.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So in summary,
Yeah.
it's
So I'd say, as we've been talking about, if you implement these SEO best practices, you're going to be able to reach a larger percentage of your target audience and improve your online visibility. make sure that your site is technically sound. Understand your audience. What kind of content do they consume? Publish that high quality content that fulfills their needs. Earn high quality backlinks. Make sure you have your internal links. Importantly, don't overdo it. Do what's best for your customers. Think about what's best for your business and your customers first. The last thing you want to do is, especially if you're not an SEO expert, is go too deep off of the too far off the deep end and over optimize and cause yourself more problems than you need. Be judicious. Think customers first. And then with all this, you're likely going to improve your rankings and drive more traffic. And be patient. This is a long-term play. The things that you're doing this month, you're not going to see results until 3-4 months down the road. And you have to keep at it. It's not just a one and done deal. So if you write a blog post and in a month's time you don't see any traffic, it doesn't mean you give up. You have to keep at it. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
It's like a gardening, right? You got to keep guarding, tending the garden, planting new plants, weeding, what doesn't work, what does work, and your harvest will come.
And look at your data and double down on what is working. If you do a blog post, a series of blog posts around a specific topic and is doing extraordinarily well, mimic that. Find a tangential topic that can be similar. And the things that don't work, you can stop. But double down on what's working.
And
like
I
that,
know you've
you're
been
gonna drive
saying, I know you've been saying blog posts, but articles, blog posts, informational pieces, content, right?
Videos. You can even transcribe videos using AI today, and publish a video, a transcription of the video down below.
That the crawlers can crawl.
The crawlers will crawl all that content.
Yeah.
And there's multiple ways that you can use different formats, white papers, infographics. There's obviously those require more resources, but I think it's limitless here what you can do. I think the important thing is to use data, keep your customer in mind, and focus on these best practices, and you should start driving more traffic to your site.
This is awesome. I'm going to go wrap this up. Jose, I did get a message from the team. I'm not sure if you could put a link to the PDF in the chat. Can you do that? I think they emailed it to you. I'll tell you what, everybody, we're going to try to get that link to you to the PDF of all the resources, which is really this page right here. Look at this. This is all the links we have for you to go in. And I promise you that if we can't put it in the chat right now, we'll go ahead and make sure you guys get emailed this.
Can somebody resend that to me, please?
Yeah, did you guys send that in an email? The team. So I want to do this. I want to say thank you to everybody who stayed on. I know we went long, but Jose is a wealth of information, piles and piles and piles of information. So, and he's sharing it with you. And that's what we want to do as a great partner for you at Dearborn. I think you got some real insights there about how to organize your website, how to understand the funnel, how to optimize your search, maybe local, use your local brand, make it powerful through geo location, understanding linking and how to maximize your content by not only internal linking, but finding other sources to link back to you too, where you become the authority in your marketplace, and use SEO as a long-term play for really reducing your pay-per-click spending and your all this other spending you might be doing. I know there's a time in my business that we shut off pay-per-click and saved $600,000 a year. We're back into some pay-per-click again now, but I can tell you SEO, if you've done right, can drive your business. And it's a fun activity to tend and watch grow as you become more and more successful at it. So let's do this. We're going to go look at that. Jose got the webinar. They got the PDF in the chat. You guys should be able to download that. Go ahead and click that real quick before I end this webinar. Everybody should have it in the chat box. Make sure you download it.
And I believe it will also be emailed to the registered attendees.
And we'll email it to you too. How about that, everybody? All right. Well, I want to thank you for being here today. We'd love to hear from you. And once again, get prepared, get ready. 2025 is coming strong, and you should be ready for it. So once again, Jose, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, everyone.